Anderson and Chris Weidman should be here soon. Let's start with the attendance of the night was 12,399. The gate was 4.826 million. The fight of the night was Edgar versus Oliveira. They both won $50,000. The other fight of the night is Seaver and Swanson. They won $50,000 too. And if I got to tell you who the knockout of the night was, you're stupid. We're formally announcing 4 major pay-per-view events to close out 2013. UFC 165, Jones versus Gustafsson, September 21st at the Air Canada Center in Toronto. UFC 166, Velasquez versus Dos Santos, October 19th at the Toyota Center in Houston. UFC 167, St. Pierre versus Hendricks, November 16th at the MGM Grand here in Las Vegas. And UFC 168, Ronda Rousey versus Tate 2, December 28th here at the MGM Grand. We're also announcing a multi-city press tour with those 8 fighters that will kick off on July 29th. And we'll be hitting the Bay Area, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, New York, Houston, Dallas, Chicago, Montreal, Stockholm, Sweden, London, England, and Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And that's all I got. So Dana, got the first question.
Dana, just to clarify on that, because earlier in the week you said you weren't sure if Rousey and Tate is the main event. That will be the main event.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Can we get your thoughts on tonight? Obviously, you know, a crazy night. Seeing a lot of talk of a fix. People saying it didn't look right. Have you seen any of that? Do you hear any of that?
People are saying what?
That it was a fix. That there was something.
Yeah, it was fixed.
You
know,
it's
that's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life.
Right.
Okay? That is just stupid.
Now, with that out of the way, talk about your reaction to the fight. Obviously, it was a shocking result. I think even people that thought Weidman was going to win didn't necessarily see it play out that way. What were your thoughts on it?
Well, you know, a lot of people felt the reason that Chris Weidman would win is because of his ground game and his wrestling. He took Anderson Silva down immediately, and Anderson did a great job of defending the submissions, got back to his feet, and there's no doubt that he got into Chris's head by the end of the first round. Yet he kept doing it throughout the entire second round and ended up getting clipped and knocked out. Chris Weidman kept his composure, didn't freak out, panic, or you know, a lot of guys will mentally shut down and go, what the hell am I doing? I'm in here with Anderson Silva. You know what I mean? I can't even hit the guy. He's playing with me right now. And he didn't. He stayed focused, kept moving forward, and kept trying to finish until he did.
You said coming into this fight that a loss meant all those super fights were off the table, that it was all done.
Yeah.
Is that still your feeling?
Yeah. I mean, that fight cost George St. Pierre and John Jones and Anderson Silva a lot of money, you know?
And the Roy Jones talk and all that, that's...
Yeah, well, you know, in those super fights, he was the link to both of them.
Right.
So, there you go.
And just last question, if I could, for you. Anderson said in the cage that he wasn't interested in a rematch. Have you had any discussion with him?
No, I mean, let me tell you what. Yeah. Anderson Silva has lost fights on his record. Anderson Silva doesn't know what it feels like to lose. It's been a very long time since he's lost, so I'm sure that's sinking in, and you know he's got to deal with that for a few days. And I guarantee you, no matter what he says publicly, and we've had this conversation before, you know, I guarantee you there's nothing he wants more than that rematch with Chris Weidman.
Thank you. And just one, if I could, for Cub. Obviously, what happened tonight is going to probably take a little bit away from what you accomplished, but I know you were saying you wanted to get into a title shot. Do you feel like you did enough to earn that, and what do you think should be next for you?
Yeah, I think I did everything I needed to do, and like I said, I'm just trying to get the fans to back me on it and let them decide. Dana does a good job of listening to the fans, and if they speak up and they want me to be the next one in line, then you know it could happen.
Can we get your take on what you think about getting a title shot right now?
I think Cub looked awesome tonight. That fight was sick. Both guys went in there and were determined, and both guys wanted to win, and both guys fought their asses off from the first round to the last round, and Cub poured it on when he needed to, and yeah, I think he deserves many things other than $50,000 tonight. I think he's a stud. He always goes and delivers. He's you know, I talk to these guys after the fight, and I'm always telling them, be the guy that gets noticed. No, he got noticed tonight, man. I mean, he's just the kid. I couldn't say enough good things about him.
If Aldo wins his fight, is there any apprehension for you as a promoter to have that rematch?
We'll see what happens. You know, Pettis is flapping out there in the wind too. The kid could fight at 55. He could fight at 45. We'll see what happens.
Hey Dana, right down here to your left, where you just were.
Hey.
It was you know, one of the best run in the UFC. We just saw how it ended. Are you disappointed at all the way in which it ended? Are you almost feel like we were kind of robbed of a legitimate Anderson Silva loss to end this streak?
Anderson Silva is so talented. You know, the guy knows what he's capable of doing. The guy knows what kind of punishment he's capable of taking. And he, if he won tonight, we'd all be going, holy shit, I've never seen anything like that. He's the greatest. You know what I mean? He got clipped tonight. He decided to fight the way that he wanted to fight. He wanted to, you know, we've seen this before when he does this, and, you know, it's part of the reason he's been called great and everything else, the things that he's able to do. But tonight it caught up with him. You know, I don't think that I saw anything tonight where the big question that I'd say is, when does Anderson Silva show up and look 38 years old? He looked great tonight, right up until the end.
Is there any comparison whatsoever to what happened in Abu Dhabi? Does this night feel similar at all to what you experienced?
I mean, it doesn't feel like an Abu Dhabi night. If it was an Abu Dhabi night, we'd all be sitting here wanting to kill ourselves. That was a horrible night. I mean, that fight was terrible. This fight wasn't terrible. This fight was very exciting. You know, Anderson Silva got taken down immediately, and that's what everybody said was going to be. That was going to be the end of the fight once Chris Weidman got his hands on him. He took him down. Chris Weidman hit him with big shots from the top. He had him in a couple of different submissions. Anderson got out, popped back up to his feet, you know, got into his head in the first round, then came out and continued to do it and got knocked out in spectacular fashion. And, yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody got robbed of anything. It was a great fight.
Dana, you don't think that was disrespectful of Anderson to do that to Chris and also to the fans who paid money to come here to see him?
Fans came here to see a fight. They saw a pretty great fight tonight. You know what I mean? Is it disrespectful? I don't know. This is fighting. How the hell do you disrespect somebody in a fight? I'm going to punch you in the face and try to knock you out. I'm going to try to kick your leg off, and if I grab your arm, I'm going to take that off, and I'm going to strangle you if I get your neck. But I don't want to disrespect you.
But when you promote fights, you use respect all the time. So many times you said it. He's respectful. He's this, he's that. So how can you say it on the one hand?
Well, I think what Weidman did to him was pretty damn disrespectful too.
No, that's part of the competition, right?
Right.
Okay, so, but I guess what I'm saying is, I mean, and you're saying it was a great fight. You know, he wasn't fighting. I mean,
my fucking heart was in my stomach. My hands were sweating. My jacket is soaked. I almost fainted twice. It's a pretty damn good fight.
So when a guy has just got his hands down and saying, hit me in the chin and doing that wasn't a fight like Cub Swanson fight or...
This guy's the greatest fighter of all time.
I agree, but what he did tonight...
The greatest fighter of all time, and he was out there doing his thing, and his thing didn't work tonight. Pretty fucking exciting.
So you had no problem. If Weidman comes up here and says he was angry or felt disrespected, because I think he said in the cage he was pissed off by it, you would have an issue with what he said then?
No. He has the right to feel however he wants to feel. Me as a fight fan, I'm exhausted.
So would you want to see that again? And, you know, that same type of...
I wish we could do that fight again next Saturday.
Yeah, I know the rematch will be big, but, I mean, from that type of fight you would want to see again?
I can almost guarantee you and make a promise, I really doubt you will see that kind of fight again, if this fight happens again.
Hey, Dan, I want to talk about Chris. Obviously, this is a big night for him. He said he would win this fight. But in some ways, do you think, we're talking about Anderson and his run through the UFC. Could this be an opportunity for Chris Weidman to start his run through the UFC? Are we possibly looking at the next great champion?
Yeah, so a man of few words called tonight, Matt Serra. And I told you he was going to do it. I told you he was going to do this, and I told you that, and I told you this, and I told you that. and he's going to hold on to the belt longer than Anderson Silva did.
I want to ask that same question to Chris because how you doing, man?
What's up, buddy?
All right, you before this fight, you said it wasn't about just winning this fight. You knew you'd win, but about what you would do afterward. Does the hard work, in essence, start now? Because you have to continue to be great.
It's crazy, man. I would think that at this point I'd be able to just sit back and relax. Instantly, I'm already like, I'm freaking hungry, man. I gotta get better. I feel like I still didn't really look at my best. So I'm just really excited to go back out there and freaking keep holding on to this belt as long as I possibly can.
Chris, right in front of you.
Hey,
After Anderson first dropped his stance and tried to pull you into a fight, what went through your head?
you know, we expected him to do things like that. He's done it plenty of times in a lot of fights, and he does. It's not. I don't see him as being cocky. You know, I see him as trying to mentally defeat you in there, and that's just part of the warfare. It's like any other type of style. It works for him. But I tried not to let it get in my head. I'm like, you know, I'm just gonna keep walking forward. I'm throwing my punches. I'm gonna keep moving forward, and then it got to the point when he was doing it, and I'm like, you know what? Screw this. I'm hitting him. You know. And I believe in my power. You know, Ray Longo, my striking. I do really good. You know, we run all these national champion boxes, and they never came back for sparring. I believed in my stand-up, but again, I'm going against Anderson Silva, so everybody telling you know you want to go for your takedowns. But when you mix it up, things like that happen.
And what was the advice from your corner during the break between the rounds?
I honestly wouldn't even be able to tell you. I have no idea. I was practicing. Was just working on my breathing.
Just as one, the two greatest upsets in the history of the UFC are in the family. One with Matt Serra, one with you. How does it feel as a team to get another upset this big?
No, it's huge. You know, Matt Serra has been an inspiration from day one. You know, I'm blessed to have amazing people around me. I'm from Long Island, New York, never left. As soon as I got out of Hofstra University, Matt Serra's academy, Ray Longo's academy was right there, Renzo Gracie's academy. I'm blessed with great people who really want to see me succeed, and I wouldn't be where I'm at without them.
Chris, first and foremost, congratulations on your win. To your right, down here. In terms of the fight, in the first round, you were doing very well before any of the histrionics. You know, you took him down, you landed some shots, you went for some submissions. It was looking like it might be setting up for a fight where you would win throughout the fight and you know, take it away from him. Obviously, a lot of people and a lot of the talk after what happened in the second round is instead more on Anderson and what Anderson did and the idea that essentially Anderson beat himself in spite of how good you looked early on. Does that frustrate you at all that you know, perhaps he took that from you to a degree, that rather than the story in a lot of people's minds being that you beat this guy after so many years of dominance, that instead a lot of people are thinking rather about what Anderson did rather than what you did?
Anderson Silva has won his fights, a lot of his fights, because of what he did and what I caught him on. It's not like he's not letting his defense down. It looks like he is, but he knows exactly what he's doing. And I capitalized on it. A lot of other guys couldn't do that. And so I'm not trying to take that away from myself.
Okay, Evelyn from Globo Esportes, Brazil. I want to ask Dana, if Anderson doesn't want the rematch right now, does Vitor Belfort deserves a title shot?
I'm not even thinking about that right now. Anderson Silva has done what nobody else has ever done in this company. You know, he's done things that nobody has ever done in the sport. You know, believe me, Vitor, I must have 172 text messages from Vitor Belfort on my phone right now, okay? He's a man of God, but I'm pretty sure he was swearing at me in a few of them. I just kept texting him back, rematch.
Okay, Chris, did you feel disrespected by Anderson Silva for the way that he acted today?
Yeah, no, again, I don't feel like he's disrespecting his opponents out there. I think he's trying to get a mental edge and mentally defeat him and then wait for you to get angry and throw a hard punch and then counterpunch you. He's a counterpuncher. So I don't feel disrespected. You know, we went in there and we fought.
Anderson, I'm going to ask in Portuguese. Todo mundo no Brasil está assim chocado com o que aconteceu. Eu queria saber se você poderia explicar para eles a sua resposta. Eu sei que você já falou na TV lá, mas o pessoal está perguntando aqui pela internet. Eles ficaram muito surpresos com a forma com que você lutou hoje. E se você poderia mandar um recado, explicar para o Brasil o que aconteceu, por favor.
my man.
Well, the question was basically asking Anderson to speak on the fight, and everyone in Brazil is pretty upset right now, so she wants him to speak on the fight.
Então, eu costumo falar sempre para os meus treinadores que a gente dá o nosso melhor, né? A gente procura dar o nosso melhor. Eu dei o meu melhor, estava tentando induzir o Chris a fazer o que eu precisava para imprimir o meu jogo. E em determinado momento ele acabou conseguindo imprimir o jogo dele e colocou um golpe que pegou, não tem como. Luta é luta, a gente tenta dar o nosso melhor, é claro que eu não queria perder. Eu não treinei para perder e nunca fiz nenhum tipo de movimento para me vangloriar sobre meus adversários. Luta é luta e eu dei o meu melhor, treinei 4 meses para essa luta, só que ele foi melhor hoje. Acho que a gente tem que respeitar e o UFC tem um novo campeão agora.
I always say that I do my best, and tonight I feel that I did my best. I tried to induce Chris into playing my game, and that didn't work. He threw some shots that landed. I got caught. So obviously my game plan didn't work tonight, and I can't make any excuses. It is what happened. I never would fight a fight to lose, and I trained 4 months for this fight to win this fight, so it is what happened. I lost the fight. A fight's a fight.
Anderson, you've had one of the great runs in any sport. Will this loss bring an even better Anderson Silva to challenge Chris Weidman for the middleweight championship? And if so, Chris, are you prepared to take on that Anderson Silva?
Who's
That's for you first, Anderson.
Essa luta vai te tornar um melhor lutador ainda para voltar com a revanche contra o Weidman?
Olha só, toda luta eu estou tentando melhorar. Não foi a primeira vez que eu perdi na minha vida. E é normal, para mim, perder ou ganhar é normal. Lógico que a gente quer sempre ganhar, a gente quer sempre vencer, a gente treina para vencer. Mas eu estou despreocupado quanto a isso. Eu fiz bem o meu trabalho, o Chris foi melhor do que eu e é natural isso, né? A gente tem os melhores lutadores do planeta nesse evento e o Chris é um deles.
You know, this is not the first time I've lost in my life, and win and losing, you fight out there. I would never go out there to lose. Obviously, you always want to win, and they're the best fighters in the world are in the UFC, and Chris is one of them.
I got a question for you, Dana. I noticed at the end of Frankie's fight, you were on your feet cheering. I'm just curious your reaction to that, and if you know, it was clear that I thought it was clear that he won the fight, but just your opinion on that fight and how you feel to have Frankie back in the W column.
Yeah, I was cheering because it was an awesome fight. You know, both guys fought with a lot of heart. It was a great fight, and that's why they both got $50,000. But yeah, I think that Frankie looked great tonight. Of course, everybody's running over to me going, he's too small. He's got to go to 135. But he looked awesome tonight, and Oliveira proved that he's a talent to be reckoned with, man. That kid's just going to get better and better and better. So it was a great fight. Loved it.
And so, Frankie, you're staying where you are right now, yeah?
If I got to hear Dana talking about 35, I don't know. I think I'm retiring.
Nice. And just quick question for you, Mark. It took some time. You didn't come out right after the fight. I heard possibly that your hand is not great. So can you tell us a story on that and just how it feels to get the win after such a long road back?
Yeah, it kind of hurts right now. I was punching him really hard, and he wasn't going away. So I tried to finish him, but I don't know, man. I don't know if it's broken or what, but it just hurts a little bit. And it feels amazing to be back. I went through a lot of stuff, and I just say adversity is the dust that polishes a diamond, and it was my time to shine tonight, and I did. So I love being in there. It felt like home. It really did.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This one's for Frankie. Frankie, how do you feel about not only getting your first win after 3 losses, but getting your first win at featherweight?
Yeah, it feels good, especially after 3 losses in a row. A win feels good anyway, but especially after getting 3 losses in a row. So, being that that's my first win of 30-45, very good.
All right, and Dana, what did you think of the Andrew Craig and Chris Lieben fight? And after Chris Lieben's performance, are you thinking about having kind of that career conversation with him at this time?
Yeah, he texted me after his fight, and said, I'm so sorry. I wanted to do this and I wanted to do that, and and I texted him back, I love you, kid. I really do. I love Chris Lieben, and kid's been through a lot in his life, and he always bounces back. And I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, he, his style of fighting you know, isn't a healthy style of fighting. You know, he throws big shots, and you know, he doesn't have what you call hand speed. But if he catches you with one of those clubs, he knocks you out. You know, I don't know. I haven't really thought about it yet, but I really care about the kid, so we'll see.
Down here, Anderson, just hey. You touched on this briefly, but the style that you fought with as the fight went on, was that a specific attempt to get Chris out of his wrestling attack and keep the fight standing, where theoretically the fight would more suit you?
Você falou rápido disso, mas o estilo que você impôs hoje era para tirar pouco o wrestling disso e deixar a luta em pé onde você ia se dar melhor?
Não, como eu havia dito, né? Os lutadores que se apresentam aqui no UFC são os melhores do mundo. E eu acho que a luta em pé é uma luta que o público gosta de ver mais. E o Chris foi melhor e é isso que a gente tem que focar agora no novo campeão.
Like I said before, the best fighters in the world are in the UFC, and I think that the fans enjoy watching a striking match. They like to see guys on their feet, but you got to respect the new champion.
And if I could, a quick one for Chris, just to your left. Hey, in those moments immediately after the fight, do you remember at all what was going through your head? You know, as Bruce was, you know, announcing you as new champion, belt getting wrapped around your waist. You know, what's going through your head at those specific moments?
It just felt really surreal, and I was like, just get my wife, my parents, everybody in the cage, please, just yelling to people. And it was a great feeling, man. You know, I've envisioned being here so many times since I decided to do this sport, and I tried to make it as real as possible leading up. But it still feels a little far-fetched no matter what. You keep trying to reel it in and make it feel more believable. And so anytime, you know, what I just accomplished, it feels surreal, you know, and it's unbelievable. It still hasn't settled in for sure.
Chris,
question for Chris.
over here.
Oh.
Over here. For Noticias and Rolling Stone magazines from Argentina. At the end of the fight, you greeted Anderson and you spoke something to him. You told him something. What was it? We really want to know what you told him at the end of the fight.
Is it when, at what point? I spoke to him like a bunch of times, I think. Right after? When he was on the ground still?
Yep.
I think I didn't know he was that hurt. I was trying to ask if he wanted help up. That was it. Listen, you go in a cage with a guy like Anderson Silva, it's almost, you develop like such a respect, becomes like a love. I felt I'm hugging this dude like I love him. You know, I don't know. But yeah, no, I feel for him. I'm obviously happy for myself, happy for my family, and I feel for him also.
Chris, and last night when you put your head on the pillow, what do you think?
Last night?
Yeah.
Last night I was just like, I want to go to sleep. Don't think about the fight too much, and just watch some TV. Fell asleep. I slept pretty good.
Hey, Chris, over here. Right back in the back.
Hey.
It seemed like your camp was sort of anticipating you might see some of that egging on, him telling you to come get him, that sort of thing. When it started to happen, I know that Ray was wanting you to kind of punch him in the chest and things. It looked like you tried that a little bit.
Yeah.
Did you see, what were you seeing and what were you thinking when that was going on? And did you see the opening to clip him as you did?
Yeah, you know, when he was doing that, I'm just telling myself, don't get mad, don't get fooled into his game, you know, focus on, you know, my punches, the takedowns. But like I said before, I do have, my stand-up is good, you know, and I feel like, you know, I've gone with top world-class boxers and world-class kickboxers, done really well just in that. But again, you know, the game plan was to punch through my takedown. So, but I was just, there was a point where I was like, you know what, I got long arms, and I'm just like, I'm going for this. And I knew he was going to tilt back. He used his hips to move back, and I'm just going to go for it, and went for it and got it.
Cool. And just one for Anderson as well. I noticed a lot of your corner guys afterward were pretty sad, pretty beat up and shocked even as you kind of went over there. Some guys were in tears. What did you say to those guys? What did you guys talk about backstage?
O que você falou para os teus corners, para os teus treinadores, quando acabou a luta? Muitos deles estavam chorando. O que você falou para eles?
Poxa, eu nem me lembro, mas eu falei que não era para ninguém chorar. Eu acho que o trabalho deles foi feito. Mas é difícil, né? Porque lá dentro quem luta é a gente. Os treinadores podem dar o 100% deles fora, mas quando a gente sobe lá é a gente. Então, é claro que eu como treinador às vezes fico um pouco triste, um pouco frustrado quando acontece algumas coisas como essa que aconteceu comigo. Mas eu disse para todos eles ficarem tranquilos, é coisa que acontece, todo mundo fez seu trabalho, eu treinei 100%. E estou feliz com o que eu fiz, com o trabalho que eu fiz, e o meu adversário foi melhor do que eu, não tem muito o que falar.
I told them there's no reason to cry, for them to relax. Their work was done, but in the end, the fighter's the one that goes in there. The trainers can't do anything. Their work was well done. It was 100%. I trained 100%, but my opponent won the fight, and there's no reason for them to be upset.
This is for Chris. Chris, you know, a ton of it. At the end of last year, then you got injured and things like that. How did that all affect as far as preparation and just your mental state, you know, coming into this fight?
You know, I felt I had a lot, you know, that whole struggle with the hurricane and injury. I tried to not let it get to me, but there was a lot of stress with that. You know, I did go through some tough times. I tried to put it out of my mind. I have, you know, my wife and my family did a good job of trying to take the pressure off me. UFC helped me, which is huge. And so I was able to, you know, focus on the fight, obviously. But I think anytime you have adversity like that, it makes you stronger, it makes you a better person, stronger person, and a better fighter. I felt like I became from it. And the time off, I felt like I did got a lot better at stand-up, actually, so it helped.
Vou perguntar em português, Anderson. Você falou lá em cima que você não pensa em revanche, mas a gente viu que o Dana White está insistindo, né, nessa revanche. Então, quais seriam talvez as condições para você querer uma revanche? O que te motivaria? Talvez uma luta no Brasil contra o Chris Weidman e para o próprio Dana White. Se ele acha que de repente então essa luta poderia ser no Brasil, já que no Brasil você é um ídolo, tem tantos brasileiros torcendo por você, como a gente viu hoje na arena lotada.
The question for Anderson was, you said in there after the fight that you're not interested in a rematch, but Dana said that he wants the rematch to happen. What would motivate you? What would make you want that rematch? Would it be a fight in Brazil? What would be the thing to make you want to go in there? And for Dana, do you think of a fight, this rematch with Chris Weidman and Anderson in Brazil?
Bom, primeiro a gente tem que respeitar o campeão. Ele é o campeão, a gente tem que respeitar. Ele venceu, ele me venceu e merece todas as glórias e respeito de todos vocês aqui. E realmente eu não estou pensando nisso agora. Estou pensando nos meus filhos, estou pensando na minha casa. E só vou pensar nisso daqui 2, 3 meses. Eu quero dar um tempo para mim mesmo. Estou muito tempo fazendo isso, muito tempo defendendo esse cinturão. E é uma pressão muito grande. Claro que não é desculpa, ele foi melhor do que eu. Os erros acontecem, eu cometi um erro e ele usou as armas que ele tinha para me vencer. Mas eu não estou pensando nisso agora não. Agora eu estou pensando em ir para minha casa, ver os meus filhos e fazer os meus trabalhos extra-luta. É isso que eu vou fazer.
First of all, we need to respect my opponent. Chris is now the champion. He won the fight. But really right now, I'm thinking of going home. I want to be with my kids. I want to take some time off and maybe 3 to 4 months think about what I'm going to do. But right now, I can't really think about that. I just want to take some time off and go home and think about everything and be alone. And there's a lot of pressure in defending this title. I defended it for a long time, so I need some time for myself.
And I think that's fair, and I respect that.
For Chris, please. Chris, you were obviously extremely confident throughout this entire process, but we all wondered what would it be like the moment you actually got in the cage and Anderson Silva was standing across. Did that confidence stay with you throughout, or was there any moment where you felt yourself wavering a little bit and the moment did get to you at all?
No, it was crazy. I felt really calm in the dressing room, almost overly calm. I'm like, hey, is this? Usually I might be a little bit more nervous in this. Is this bad? I don't know. But no, you know, you always have doubts. You know, I just put it in the hands of God, man. I just took all my anxiety. I put it in His hands, and I really felt really relaxed going there. I felt confident the whole time. He was walking through the cage the whole time. I'm like, I got this. I'm doing this for my family. I'm doing this, and I'm not. I was destined for this opportunity. I just really felt like it was my time, and I'm not gonna beat myself. And if I didn't beat myself, I thought I was gonna win the fight.
for Anderson, if I could please. The one criticism I see out there is people frustrated, feeling that maybe Chris didn't beat you so much as you allowed him to beat you by the movements that you make and the way you approach the fight. Do you feel that's accurate at all, and how would you address those people that criticize you for the way you fought tonight?
Tem gente criticando, falando que talvez o Chris não te venceu, que foi alguns erros que você fez, que quase você que se perdeu para si mesmo. O que você fala disso? Tem coerência?
As pessoas vão falar muitas coisas agora, né? Vão falar que o Chris teve sorte, que eu menosprezei o Chris, e, enfim. Ele deu o melhor dele, eu dei o meu melhor e ele venceu essa noite. A gente tem que respeitar o campeão, respeitar o que ele fez hoje. Ele deu o melhor dele e venceu o cara que era o campeão antes. Então a gente tem que respeitar isso e tem que respeitar o que a gente fez pelo esporte. É isso.
You know, people are going to be saying a lot of things now. They're going to say that Chris got lucky. They're going to say I underestimated him. But we need to respect what he did. We need to respect that he went in there and he beat me, and that's pretty much it.
Just one short one for Dana. Dana, on the broadcast tonight, there was some teasing that there would be a George St. Pierre announcement. Obviously, you did announce, the Hendricks fight officially. Was there something else in the works? Was there something hanging in the balance that there might be an announcement for GSP this evening? Have things played out differently?
No.
So it was just the...
Yeah, it was the Hendricks fight. Yeah, that fight was always...
This question is for Frankie, but for all the fighters, if you feel compelled to answer this. Being that this is the Fan Expo weekend, and Frankie is always a fan favorite because of the heart that he fights with, how affected are you by the sound of the crowd? Do you even hear it? Does it affect you? Does it amp you up? Do you perform better or worse because of it?
Yeah, I love the emotions of the crowd. Especially got the Brazilian fans cheering for Charles, and then the USA fans cheering for me, and then everyone cheering for him, everyone cheering for me. It's great. I think some point in the third round, I couldn't even hear my corner because the crowd was cheering so loud. So I definitely feed off that.
Dana, over here to the left. Oh, you're.
Hey.
At the risk of pushing this point too far. Before the fight, I think it was at the pre-fight presser, you said we could print that there would guaranteed be a rematch between these two. But Anderson said he wants a few months off to think about it. I don't think you want to keep Chris Weidman on the shelf. So are things just kind of up in the air and you have to wait?
Don't push it. What do you want me to say? The guy said he wants to take some time off. Like I said, Anderson Silva said, before he walked in, I told you guys, and then he came in and said, I have losses on my record.
Sure.
It's been a long time since this guy has lost a fight. And I'm sure he forgets what it feels like to lose a fight. And like he said, there's a lot of pressure that goes along with defending the title and all the other things that go on. Just relax, everybody. Relax, let the guy go home. Let him think about things, and we'll see what happens.
So maybe a rematch, maybe Chris defends against someone else. We'll just, to be determined.
Rematch.
Dana, over here on the back. I know you already said this was a great fight, but what do you think on the way it ended? What does it does to the Anderson's legacy? You've been talking about his legacy for a long time. How does it feel now? Feel right now about his legacy?
What does it do to his legacy?
Yeah.
Nothing. I mean, the guy's had the longest win streak. The guy's been an amazing fighter. This is one of those moments when, a guy goes on a run like Anderson Silva has gone, and all the creeps and the weirdos come out of the woodwork, and start talking shit about how, oh, look he wasn't this great. What he's done is amazing. Nobody's ever done what this man has done. Nobody's ever done it the way that he has done it. And this doesn't do anything to his legacy. Like I said earlier, the stuff that he was doing, that people are saying, oh, if he did that stuff and won the fight, they'd be talking about what a genius he is. He got clipped, got caught. Anybody can get caught on any given night, even Anderson Silva. It happened tonight. Chris Weidman kept his composure. Anderson Silva said it. He said it. Everybody knows that he was doing it to mentally mess with him, to get him into his game. And if you notice, the first thing Chris came out and did in the fight was take Anderson down and started going for submissions. When Anderson started messing with him, he didn't try to take him down again for a long time. He was messing with his head and trying to get in his head and trying to get him to fight his kind of fight. And if he did it and ended up knocking him out, he'd be a genius. But because this kid kept his composure and ended up catching him, now it's like some big controversy. Is Anderson not as good as he was? What's this going to do to his legacy and all that bullshit?
And sorry for changing the subject, but you mentioned a lot of cities for the tours, and you didn't mention Mexico City or any place near to Mexico with the tour that you're having with the fighters.
Yeah, what about it?
I don't know if it wasn't on the plan to be there, and you were impressed by the way Canelo and Floyd got a lot of people on a public plaza. And
I have no idea what you're asking me.
Why,
Are we going to Mexico City?
Why the tour is not coming to
Okay.
Mexico City with the fighters? I know you're not having a show there, but
Yeah, it's not on the list, which is pretty stupid. It should be on the list, and yeah, we probably should go there.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks.
For Tim Kennedy, I'm sure you have world-class grapplers that come in to help you prepare for Roger Gracie, but what was it like once he took your back, you know, and how were you able to, was it easy to keep your composure and use the proper sub-defense?
You know, I was really disappointed in my performance. First of all, I guess UFC jitters are real, and not take anything away from Roger. He's amazing. You know, I do train with some of the best grapplers on the planet, and you know, nobody gets my back. Roger got my back, you know, and kept me there for 3 minutes. You know, I stayed cool and tried to hit him in the face. You know, I really wanted to finish him, and everything I did tonight. He's long, he's rangy, and I couldn't reach his chin. So I just tried to stay composed and keep hitting him. You know.
And for Chris, you know, the sequence where you knocked him out, would you say you were getting wild as well? You know, falling for some of the antics, and were you getting close to going back to the wrestling as well?
Yeah, you know, the whole time I was looking to mix it up. I was faking some shots or whatnot. You know, you gotta kind of deceive your opponent. But no, I just got tired. I was just like, I'm going for him. You know, I had to believe in my stand up, and I went for it, threw a couple punches and landed, and that was it.
For Charles Oliveira, he looks like he's grown in the last few years. And is 145 still easy for you? Because, you know, you came from 155, but it looks like you've grown back up and also added some muscle. So will you be staying at 45?
Você pensa que você vai ficar nessa categoria mesmo ou você está se sentindo bem? Como é que tá?
Não, eu penso em continuar nessa categoria mesmo. Eu enfrentei um grande campeão, um grande lutador, eu dei o meu melhor e acabou sendo o dia dele, a vitória é dele. Essa é a minha categoria, eu tenho que treinar, voltar para casa, treinar de novo, me focar e esperar a minha próxima luta.
Yeah, I feel good in this weight class. I fought a champion, and he took the best of me, but I feel really good in this weight class, and I feel I just need to go home and train harder.
Anderson, can you talk about, is that what you were trying to do with the tactics that you were doing? Is that what you were trying to do, is keep the fight upright and try to draw him into an opening where you could knock him out? Is that what you were doing with those tactics?
É o que você estava fazendo com essa tática, era tentar atrair ele para o teu jogo, para deixar ele ficar em pé e explorar algum erro dele?
Eu estava tentando fazer o que eu sempre fiz, meu trabalho da melhor forma possível. E como eu já havia dito, ele foi melhor do que eu, né? Eu cometi alguns erros aos quais eu vou voltar para casa e revê-los, mas ele foi melhor. A gente tem que não tem que se focar no que eu fiz de errado e se focar no que ele fez de melhor. Ele é um novo campeão e isso que importa agora para todos os fãs do UFC. Eu vou continuar fazendo meu trabalho e estou feliz com o que eu fiz hoje. Claro que eu não queria ter perdido, mas acontece.
I feel like I went in there and I did what I always do, and I did my job, but we got to stop thinking about the mistakes that I made and look at what he did. You know, obviously I didn't want to lose this fight, but I need to go back and look at the mistakes that I made, but obviously what he did deserves a lot of respect.
And Chris, did you feel at all that what he was doing, did it cross some kind of line of being, you know, unprofessional?
No. I was just, I expect that from him. He's a genius at getting into people's minds. He's a smart dude. And I just kept my composure, kept moving forward, kept believing in myself. And, you know, it got to the point I just believed in my stand-up more than the second before that. And I said, go for it, you know, and that was really it.
Dana, does the new contract with Anderson allow you to maybe hold his feet to the fire more than you were able to do under the old deal like making this fight, or say like we're gonna demand that you participate in this fight? Does it change anything?
No, listen, I've never had a problem getting Anderson to fight. Anderson's always fought. You know, Anderson will say what he will say in the public, but when Anderson and I speak behind closed doors, Anderson Silva has never turned down a fight. Anderson Silva has never said, I won't fight this guy and I won't fight that guy. Even when we got to the point where he said, you know, I don't like what Chael Sonnen said, I don't like what he did, I would prefer not even give this guy a shot at the title. He fought Chael Sonnen. He's been a great champion. He's fought everybody that we ever asked him to fight. He's done whatever we've asked him to do. You know, have we had our little moments here and there? Yeah, but nothing. It's nothing major. There's no clause in any contract that'll say, you know, oh no, we got to deal with Anderson and he's got to do this or that. He's always been a great champion and a great and a good man, a man of his word.
Hi, Chris. Congratulations over here. Well, Anderson was plenty time pretending he was like hurt or not hurt. Did he ever hurt you? Did you ever felt hurt by him?
No, never felt anything, nothing to the head that bothered me. The leg kicks, I'm like, I gotta start checking those. But other than that, no. I actually on purpose, I put my hands down, took a couple punches to the forehead just to let him know I'm not scared to put my head out there. And I bleed in my my chin, bit down on my mouthpiece, and said, you know, let's do this. And that was really it.
I'm going to take 2 more questions, if there are 2 more questions.
Right
Go
here.
ahead.
Questions for Mark. Mark, right here, to your right. Michael Mardonis, MiddleEasy.com. First of all, congratulations on an awesome transformation and probably one of the best wins of your career. What were your thoughts on the main event, and were you disappointed at all that you weren't the guy to dethrone Anderson Silva?
You know, I just want to say, if Anderson doesn't fight Chris, I would love to step in. I'd love to step in because this was a real Mark Munoz tonight. When I fought Chris, I actually had some adversity fighting him. So I would really love a rematch with him. So if he doesn't take it, but at the same time, I felt amazing. You know, the stuff that I went through it, and you know, that's the stuff that I think a lot of people go through, and I was just vocal about it. And you know, now I'm past it. It made me a better person, and now I'm here, and now I'm here to stay.
And what was your reaction to the knockout?
Yeah, I was disappointed because I know what Anderson can do. I know what he can do, and I know what he's capable of, and he got caught tonight. He did, and you know, he'll be back though. He's a champion. You know, he's been there for so long. So yeah, and I told him, I said, you know, I want to train with you. You know, let's train. So, and he said he'll come train. So.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah.
One more question. Somebody have one more? You're done? Thank you so much, everybody. We appreciate it. Have a great night.